Now that we know how to hold our bow, we're gonna talk about how to play with our bow. So here's my bow. Now, in the last lesson we covered how to hold it, but one of the things I'm going to be doing in each video is giving you a reminder on how to hold your bow. Because students, they can be shown once on how to hold their bow, but they will fall into bad habits and their fingers will get out of place. So it's going to be very helpful for you to receive constant reminders on how to hold your bow. I have to give this to my students who take lessons from me in person, so I'm going to be giving you that same benefit with these constant reminders. So first reminder is make sure that let's look at this screen down here. Make sure that your 3 frog fingers are staying on the side of the frog right here. One point of reference I tell students is they want to cover the white dot on their bow. In the case of my bow here, it's a fleur-de-lis. But more important thing is that you keep that this decorative element on the side of the frog covered with your fingers. Also with your index finger here, it's going to be up here on the winding. It doesn't have to be too far up. Some students, they can keep it right around there. But just make sure that it's on the winding and curved slightly for like a shallow hook onto that part of the stick there. Another reminder is the thumb. Let's see how well I can get it in. All right, this right here will probably work. So we want that thumb to be right on the corner of the frog right there between the frog and the stick. Also very important that the thumb stays curved. Don't straighten it out like that. Keep that thumb curved. All right, now that we've had that reminder, we're going to talk about our bow warm-up. And there's several steps to the bow warm-up. I'm going to teach you the first step in this lesson. But with that first step, there's a lot of factors to keep in mind. First, what we want to do is make sure that our shoulder stays relaxed the whole time. Students, when they start bowing, they tend to tense up their shoulders. It doesn't matter which one of their instruments that are covered in this course, students do tend to tense their shoulders up. And that works against us. So try to keep your shoulders relaxed as much as possible. A simple exercise you can do for getting your shoulders relaxed is first take your shoulders, raise them up, and make them tight and tense. Make your neck disappear. Hold it like that, and then just suddenly let them drop. Let them relax. Just let them drop. That's where your shoulders land after that drop, that's where they're most relaxed. So that's gonna be one exercise you can do to get your shoulders in the right range of where they should be when they're relaxed. Just simply tense them up, make your neck disappear, and then let them drop. All right. With those shoulders relaxed, it's going to help us with our bowing, and here's how. I'm going to put my bow on this string right here, the D string. That's going to be one of the first strings we'll learn to play. For the sake of the camera there, the D string is this one right here. Now, I'm going to put my bow on the string here, and one of the things that's important for using our bow correctly is this idea of bow weight. We want our hand, our arm, and the bow to just rest on the string. We don't want to push it onto the string. That's going to cause some bad tone quality. And we also don't want to lightly touch the string, which lightly touch happens when our shoulders are raised up. So if we're lightly tensing our shoulders maybe, we get this weak tone. If we're pushing so hard, we get this gruff, aggressive, hard tone. But if we just relax our shoulders, let our arm, hand, and bow rest on the string, we get a very nice, pleasing tone. Of course, we still need to develop our main movement for the bow stroke. So let's go ahead and talk about this first step of the bow warm-up. So once you get that bow resting on the string, we're gonna do some really short bow strokes, just about that long. Now when you first start, it's probably gonna sound a little crunchy, a little ugly, maybe something like that. One of the things you wanna make sure is that while you're doing these short bow strokes, that you're not doing too short a bow stroke. We do want a bit more length on our bow strokes here. There we go. That's the kind of tone quality we want. So first do some practice bow strokes. Just take your bow, pull it across the string, then restart it. Keep doing that a couple times. so that we don't get that tone, but we get this tone. It's just a very short movement. Just pull it across the string. Once you've done that a couple times, we'll be ready to move on to the next part of our bow warm-up. So as I said, there's several steps to our bow warm-up, but right now we're going to focus on only the first step. In each of the consecutive videos, we're going to introduce a new step to the bow warm-up. But right now we're going to only focus on one. Alright, now for this first step of the bow warm-up. So we've been doing some short bow strokes, making them about that long, and working on getting a good tone. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do 8 short down bows. Let me go first to demonstrate. So I'm going to do 1 short down bow, and then I'm going to do a second, and now a third. That was a little crunchy tone. That's one thing you're going to want to do during this bow warm-up, is listen to your tone quality. That was a third, so here's 4, 5, 6, 7, and now 8. 8 short down bows. That's what we want to do. Now, here's what we're mainly trying to develop with this bow warm-up, and I think I'm going to have to come in closer here just so you can see what my arm is doing. So, what we're trying to develop with the bow warm-up is an elbow movement. Some students, they're gonna start off by just using their shoulder to do the main movement, but that's not what we want to do. That is the wrong movement. What we want is for the main part of our movement to be done, to be accomplished at the elbow. Watch my elbow as I do these 8 short down bows again. As I pull each one, the elbow is starting to extend a little. Yeah, right there. It's really starting to focus on just the elbow. Let's see, I think that was 4, so 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's what this warm-up is going to help us develop, is the idea of using our elbow as the main source of our movement. I say the main source because sometimes the shoulder will have to do a little work, but it really is going to be a very small amount of work. Now for me, I'm a very tall cellist. I have some pretty long arms, so I can do this mainly with my elbow. Especially after that 4th bow stroke there, I can finish up this bow stroke with just my elbow. But some students, they can't get all the way to the tip with just their elbow, so they will have to use their shoulder to kind of finish up there. Just a little bit though. Remember, the main movement is the elbow. The elbow does a lot of work for the bow stroke. The shoulder does very little work. After we do the 8 short down bows, focusing on just our elbow movement there, we're now going to follow that up with 8 short up bows. So let me show you that now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I could have made those a little bit longer. You see, I'm not all the way to the frog. Let me try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. That's the main goal you want to work on when you do the 8 short down bows and the 8 short up bows. When you do the down bows, you want to finish the 8th bow stroke as close to the tip as possible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, that's the range I want to be in. When we finish the up bow, the 8th up bow that is, we want to be as close to the frog as possible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Very good. Now, one other thing I want to point out in regards to the shoulder. You may notice that as my hand came in, the shoulder did lower a little. That's part of the little work the shoulder will do. Let me demonstrate that again with another 8 short up bows. Watch my shoulder. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've done 4 so far, mainly just the elbow right now, not a whole lot of shoulder. 5, 6, oh, the shoulder's starting to work. 7, 8. That's part of the little work the shoulder will do. The main movement is still the elbow, but notice that as the bow comes in, it is gonna be, there is a little bit of work for the shoulder to do. And again, I emphasize just a little. We want our elbow to do the work. We don't want the shoulder to do the work. Notice as I use just my shoulder, the bow doesn't stay straight, it rocks back and forth. And there's some not so pleasing tones that we get in result. So as you do this bow warm-up and the next steps that we'll be teaching on in the future lessons, the main thing to concentrate on is that the elbow does a lot of the work and the shoulder does very little. Let me just do it one more time to illustrate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Up bow now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good job.